Thank you, Chairwoman DeGette, for allowing me to wave on to this important hearing, and to the panelists for helping us to better understand the dire consequences and legal chaos of the Dobbs decision. I want to give a special thank you to Ms. Bracy Sherman for sharing your story and empowering others to share theirs. I have to say, like many of my colleagues, I received many letters from constituents, and I was struck by one constituent who wrote to me to say that, like thousands of women, she benefited from the ability to obtain a safe abortion. Her parents died when she was young. She was tragically raped as a teenager and had to rely on the support of others to even obtain the abortion. She now has a good paying job and pays, as she said, her fair share of taxes. She wrote to me that if she had not been afforded that opportunity, she doesn't know where she would be today, and that she believed she wouldn't have finished high school or college or been a contributing member to society. But another constituent wrote to me and said, I don't regret it, and I never have, but what she does regret is that she's been quiet about it for all of these years because she's felt that she contributed to the stigmatizing of this topic for other women. Now she's speaking up. I'm grateful for these women who spoke up, and I'm thankful that Delaware still has the option of safe abortions and reproductive rights. We recently passed a package of legislation, and included in that is an increase in the number of trained eligible providers who can provide care, including allowing physician assistants and advanced practice nurses to prescribe medication abortion. Dr. Verma, why is medication abortion essential to your patients, and how would expanding access to medication abortion impact their lives?
Thank you for that question and for all of your work in Delaware. So first I want to correct some misinformation that we've heard today about medication abortion. Our science-based professional societies have established very clearly that medication abortion is completely safe, essential health care. That includes our American Board of OBGYNs, which governs all OBGYNs in the country. We know that over 50% for the first time of abortions in the country are happening with medication abortion. And it's incredibly important for people to have access to this service that we know they can get safely and effectively.
Thank you. And even though the rhetoric around abortion access remains contentious, a majority of Americans support access to abortion, and that has been true for decades. Black Americans support abortion access in particularly high numbers, with 68% believing that abortion should be legal in all or most cases. Ms. Bracy Sherman, what do we know about the widespread majority support for abortion access in the United States, particularly among women of color?
Thank you so much for that question. I think one of the things that is a misconception is that abortion is a divisive issue. It is not. It is actually a gerrymandered issue. Support for abortion has really not changed and actually increased since Roe v. Wade, particularly in communities of color, particularly with Black communities. And I know this because I am Black and I talk to my family and also all of my neighbors. So that's really critical. I also actually want to go back to something that you said with that constituent. To everyone who's out there and you have not shared your abortion story yet, that's okay. You did not contribute to the stigma. The people who wanted to ban our access did. The people who tell us that we're somehow worse because we're Black people or brown people because we want our abortions. That somehow because people of color need abortion access, we're really terrible people. That's where the stigma comes from. When you share your story, it is a gift and it deserves to be heard on your own terms. So thank you so much for sharing those stories.
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. And I think it's an empowering moment for a lot of people right now. And I'm just going to leave it right there and say thank you for empowering people and helping them to be empowered.
Can I just say, the things that are said in these hearings do not happen in a vacuum.
Right.
They impact people that you love.
That's right.
The words matter. I am currently receiving death threats from the RNC, as I mentioned. Those words matter. That is very scary, simply because I said that I had an abortion. That should not bring on death threats in this country. That is wrong. And so that is why people are afraid to share their stories. And I hope that we change the culture so everyone feels free to talk about abortion on their own terms.
Thank you so much. And I will be submitting some questions for the record, Madam Chairwoman, particularly on misinformation and how do we make sure that we practice a guide against that for Dr. Guerrero and also Dr. Verma. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I yield back.
Thank you. Chair now recognizes